I wonder if there's sort of this basic human skill that we become rather rusty on, and that I'm perhaps fairly bad at, because in part of the way that technology has shaped our world, and particularly how it's shaped our acquisition of knowledge. So, I think in longer ago periods of time, where access to information was less readily, where information was far less readily available, that oftentimes if you wanted to learn something, you had to go talk to somebody and see what they knew that you didn't know. There's the idea of being an apprentice, and of course on-the-job training is still very normal, right? But think about when you have a specialized problem, whether it's in your work and you're the only one who does that type of job at your company, or whether it's outside of work, some other type of problem that you're having. I think some people, I think longer ago probably it was more prevalent that you just simply, your default was, well, let me find someone to talk to about this who knows more about this than what I do. Now, for those of us who grew up on Google, or I say, well, it depends, I guess, what you define as growing up on. But in our very early years, we really, Google was a major part of our existence, if you will. We learned the language of Google, if you will. It's like we learned how to put in search queries to get the kind of results that we were looking for and things like that. So the generation that became online researchers, if you will, we became very comfortable with that. And I think that is totally fine. But there may be something that I and my peers are missing, which is simply reaching out to real life people with when we have problems, or when we need answers to questions, rather than only going to the internet. Now, the internet has a fantastic amount of information, and the challenge sometimes is to have it be parsed in such a way as to be relevant to be the correct solution for the problem, right? So let's say I have a problem, and let's say that my problem is I'm trying to acquire clients for a company that is at $1 million in revenue. And I go online and I read about a solution that is a way to get more clients. However, this solution is a great solution. And I can see the case studies and everything. It looks good. It looks really solid. It makes a lot of sense to me. Only problem is, this solution is for companies that are at $50 million in revenue. Okay, so a real life person potentially could have looked at my situation and said, this is the way you need to be getting clients right now, based on where you're at and your stage of life. Your stage of your company. Okay, whereas on the internet, I might find advice that works perfectly for a $50 million company, or works great for a company that's $150,000 in revenue. It may be, the information is there, but the judgment, the expertise, the practical knowledge to find, in other words, as the researcher, I may be aware that I have a problem, but I may not be aware of the correct type of solution. So I may find a solution, but I may find the wrong solution. So it may make perfect sense to me. It may click. I may say, wow, this is perfect. This is great. I'm going to implement this right away. But it could be the wrong advice because I don't have because I don't know which solution I need. So maybe that's sometimes the most valuable thing in getting personalized advice or consulting from somebody is not just to get a solution, but really it's to get the solution, right? It's to get the solution that is tailored for my precise situation, and hopefully helps to block out the noise of the other solutions that really don't apply to me. So if any, I'd say there's so much information about business by now on the internet. I would say actually that's probably, maybe that's one of the number one things in terms of the next, learning to know what is the next step, is that there's too many options for next steps out there, essentially. And so that's probably where that may be one of the greatest value, or some of the greatest value in mentorship is to help you know what the solution is that you need for right now versus a solution that would work at some other stage.